Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be diving into Ethereum instead of Bitcoin because as you guys know, outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum is one of my favorite cryptocurrencies in the entire landscape. A lot of that has to do with the fact that it was one of the first to lay the foundation for decentralized applications and also proof of stake. There's also quite a bit going on in the fundamentals of Ethereum and a lot going on the technicals of Bitcoin that are going to be driving the price action of Ethereum back up in this year. I shot a video about 2 weeks ago. I'll link it somewhere on the channel, maybe up there, maybe down below. I don't know. We'll link it somewhere where I told you how Ethereum could result in a 400% return here this year. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a very bullish pattern on Ethereum that you guys need to be watching because if you have been living under a rock, you can leverage trade Ethereum. This could be a big trade and I'm going to be looking to make it. I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, guys. Remember, the YouTube gods will show us favor if you hit those likes. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes because, you know, why not? Let's shoot for the stars. Why not? I had a great weekend. I'm rested, relaxed, and ready to go. So, guys, go ahead and grab your favorite coffee mug. Mine says Boss on it right there. As you can see, I love that coffee mug. Got that for Christmas. And without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. First things first, Bitcoin's the realist. So let's do a little bit of technical analysis on it first, and then we're going to dive on into that Ethereum. I just want to give you guys a quick update on Bitcoin and show you what's going on over here. As you guys know, we talked about how Bitcoin is in a confirmed downtrend. We have lower highs and we have lower lows, although those lower lows are starting to become higher lows. So you could argue that this is some kind of mutated, really ugly inverse head and shoulder. We're not even going to go there. The point is Bitcoin looks like it's trying to put a little bit of a trend reversal in. We have a short-term uptrend with higher lows and higher highs right there, but that could also be a bear flag, guys. It'd be very easy for Bitcoin to fall back below $9,600. As you know, one of our strong levels of support is sitting in between 95 and 96. Bitcoin has not broken that. Bitcoin is very indecisive right now. So indecisive, in fact, that the weekly chart just put in a spinning top because that's how indecisive we are. It's showing up on the weekly chart. So far, everything on Bitcoin looks like healthy consolidation, but it also looks like Bitcoin is going to be a little bit boring here for the next few days, and that's where our altcoin TA comes in. I don't expect any major moves on Bitcoin today, although since it is the first day of the week, I will be keeping a close eye on it nevertheless. Remember, guys, those shorts jumped off the metaphorical cliff back on Friday, and the longs have been going down slightly also, meaning general interest in Bitcoin has been declining as its price action has been doing the same. So like I said, let's look at Ethereum because I'm really excited about a pattern that I found here, and you can see it on my chart right there. One of my favorite things about the altcoins, guys, is that they tend to follow Bitcoin, except they tend to move much faster and farther than Bitcoin does. Ethereum is no exception to that. During the 2016-17 bull market, Ethereum rallied much farther than Bitcoin did if you look at it percentage-wise, and it actually rallied a little bit lagging Bitcoin. If you look at the chart, then you're going to find that Bitcoin hit all-time high mid-December. Ethereum hit all-time high in mid-January, about a month later, so they typically follow behind. What's really interesting this year, though, guys, is that Ethereum seems to have been leading the way. A lot of this rally that we saw on Ethereum, because Ethereum more or less went parabolic here, a lot of it happened before Bitcoin was really starting to take off, and Ethereum moved a lot farther. If you guys will remember to yesterday's video, Bitcoin moved 60% in 60 days. That's about 1% a day. Ethereum, on the other hand, moved 140% in 60 days. If you go to CoinMarketCap, you're going to see evidence of that because on the total market dominance over the last 3 months or so, you're going to see Bitcoin has been gradually losing market dominance back when we were up around 70 all the way to where we are now around 60. And Ethereum in the same time is rallying from 7% market dominance all the way to 10.5%. That's a significant movement. And if you look at the historical price action of Bitcoin and its altcoin counterparts, you're going to find during bull markets, valuation flows into the altcoin space as altcoins tend to be more speculative than Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin is rallying, that typically indicates that there's a lot of trust in the space and in the trend. And when people are trusting that their Bitcoin's doing well, then they will also trust that their altcoins are going to do well. When Bitcoin is rallying, so too do altcoins. When Bitcoin is crashing, so too do altcoins. No matter which direction the altcoins are moving, though, you can bet that they're going to go farther than Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulled back from all-time high a total of 70%. Most altcoins pulled back nearly 95%. It's a double-edged sword, but since we're entering a bull market, there's a lot of money to be made on Ethereum. As you guys can see, we rallied 140% in 60 days. You use some leverage on that, you made a lot of money. But I don't think it's over with. Let me show you this pattern right here. This, if you guys are in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, will know this is either a symmetrical triangle pattern or an ascending triangle pattern, depending on how you define this level of resistance up here. If you leave the level flat like this, then you're going to see this as an ascending triangle pattern, but if you drag it down to be a downtrend of resistance, you're going to see it as a symmetrical triangle pattern. Doesn't really matter which one it is because both of those serve as what is known as a bull pennant. Ethereum was moving to the upside, it moves into a pennant. Those are typically bullish patterns that break bullish, so they act as continuation patterns. So Bitcoin, in this case Ethereum, I guess, rallies bull pennant, and then we rally even farther because they tend to break bullish. You'll normally see these about halfway through the trend, which if we were to extrapolate would mean that Ethereum would be going much higher, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because there's something I want to show you first in the history of Ethereum. Going back to 2017, we're going to find a very interesting pattern on Ethereum. Some of you guys who were in the market back then like I was will remember this ascending triangle pattern. This pattern has been on this chart for over 2 years. I drew this in 2017 and it's still here. I never got rid of it because I knew it'd be important one day. And so it is. I remember when I first got into the space, about 2 months after I joined, I drew this top right here and this top right here, drew this flat level, drew this uptrend using the wicks. You could have used the candle bodies also. It doesn't really matter. Point is, it was an ascending triangle pattern coming out of a rally that was pretty significant. I mean, Ethereum rallied from down here under $10. It was a 5,000% rally. Could you imagine getting Ethereum for $10? I remember when people were saying that they got Ethereum for $10, and I was like, this just went to 1,400. Nevertheless, point here is that Ethereum moved into this ascending triangle pattern, and I remember I called this breakout. Unfortunately, I didn't trade it because I was newer to the market. I didn't really know what I was doing back then. But I called this breakout. Ethereum rallied from where it broke out at $400 to $1,400. There's a very clear historical trend of Ethereum respecting those bull pennants. That is no exception. And if we look at our current market, guys, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for Ethereum not to break bullish here. Now, that's the theoretical, but what about the technical? What do the actual technicals say on Ethereum? Well, since we've been trading sideways, we have had a bearish cross on the MACD, but that's nothing to really be scared about because Ethereum was very overextended on its MACD. We're sitting up here at 24. That's pretty high. We haven't seen Ethereum move up to those levels in almost a year. We would expect some kind of pullback. We would expect some kind of consolidation after a 150% move like we saw earlier on this year. There's nothing unhealthy about that. In fact, I would say it's very healthy that Ethereum is doing that because it's resetting. It's allowing those bulls to take their profits. And by the way, this top right here, we called this. This happened a little over a week ago. I called for a 10 to 15, 20% correction. We got about a 15% correction, like I said. Back here, if Ethereum was going to go into a new downtrend and start falling and start crashing, don't you think it would have done it already? Don't you think those bulls would have taken their profits already instead of respecting an uptrend of support? That's what I think would have happened. We even pulled the RSI back down here to 64 when it was up at 90. To me, it makes a whole lot of technical sense that in the next couple of days, maybe the next week or so, Ethereum breaks bullish out of this pattern and starts rallying even higher. As we can see, these two trend lines, depending on how you draw them, are going to cross somewhere between the 27th and the 29th. Sometime before the end of the month, we're going to see a breakout on Ethereum, be it bullish or bearish. It could be bearish, but I'm betting bullish. There is one more thing we need to consider though, and that is Bitcoin. Guys, this is why I do analysis on Bitcoin primarily. It's because the altcoins tend to follow Bitcoin. The analysis on altcoins is always going to be dependent on what the Bitcoin market is doing. If Bitcoin's doing well, altcoins are going to do well. If Bitcoin's not doing well, altcoins aren't going to do well. It's just as simple as the sun will rise tomorrow. Ethereum looks like it will break bullish. It has all the technical and fundamental reasons to break bullish. It has plenty of room to run. Everything looks healthy on it. However, it entirely depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin has a pullback down to like $9,000 around that 20 WEMA that we've been talking about, Ethereum would probably break bearish as well. If Bitcoin, however, continues to trade sideways / has a break to the upside, Ethereum, you can expect it to break bullish, and we'll talk about the price target for that here in just a second. The first thing I want to mention, though, is that Bitcoin is in a short-term uptrend, which is showing short-term bullishness and strength for Bitcoin. That could allow Ethereum to have some kind of bullish breakout before Bitcoin actually decides if it's going up or down. That's why I said if Bitcoin keeps trading sideways, roughly sideways here, it could still result in an Ethereum breakout. We don't need Bitcoin being bullish for Ethereum to be bullish, but we cannot have a bullish Ethereum if Bitcoin is bearish. I hope that makes sense to you. One thing to consider also is that on the Ethereum over BTC chart, there is also a triangle pattern, as you can see right here. Now, I am going to point out that this one is a little ugly because over the last couple of days, you could have drawn this triangle pattern like this, and then you could have drawn it like this, and now we're drawing it like this. I'm not a big fan of this triangle pattern because there's no touch here in the middle to concretely define this downtrend. Ethereum's just kind of making it up as it goes, and it keeps breaking bullish, quote unquote, and it's not really meaning anything because there's no movement going on the Ethereum US dollar chart. But that could very soon change, guys. I want to point out the price targets that we're looking at here. Ethereum does have strong resistance at $280, and we've roughly been using that as our resistance zone for a while now. If you'll look back on the market back here, there was quite a bit of trading around that level. There was trading around the level here. There was resistance and support on the level here, and now we're getting resistance on it once again, which is only strengthening that level of around $280 on Ethereum. That being said, out here on the weekly chart, we're seeing some very good things happening with the moving averages. Ethereum got through that 100 weekly simple moving average, and we're having a 20 and 50 weekly moving average cross out here on, well, the weekly chart. Furthermore, if we look at the VPVR, taking into account pretty much all of Ethereum's historical price action, we're going to find that we're already above most of the resistance. We only have one more resistance climax right above where we are now, between 280 and 300. And that's important, guys, because what that means is that if Ethereum does break above about $300, then you can expect it to start rallying in a big way. Price target time. One of the most obvious price targets for Ethereum is going to be the level of $400. It was the top over here for that ascending triangle pattern. It was support right here. It was support right here. When we broke this, we moved into a bigger downtrend, and we more or less tested it as resistance right here. We rounded up to about 370. It's close. $400 is more or less the $14,000 level on Bitcoin. As you know, Bitcoin rallied to $14,000 back in June. Ethereum is probably going to be testing $400 in a similar way that Bitcoin tested $14,000. Bitcoin's going to try 14. Ethereum's going to try 400. We'll see what happens. I think that's where Ethereum is moving to. What that means is that if Ethereum does break above about $300, around 305 is where I might be looking to enter a trade, because I want to make sure that we're above that VPVR. We're looking at a 30% return. You use maybe 10x leverage on that, that's 300%. That is not an insignificant amount of money. Of course, guys, that is going to depend on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin breaks bullish and continues its uptrend, you can bet your bottom dollar, and I know I am, that Ethereum is going to $400, and there's a trade to be made there. So, to wrap this video out and put a nice bow on it, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Don't sue me. If you make a mistake, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Take responsibility for your own actions, guys. It's one of the biggest lessons that you can learn from anyone. If you take responsibility for your own actions, you're going to be able to learn a lesson because it was your mistake, not someone else's. But if you're only doing what someone else told you to do, then if it doesn't work, you're not going to know why it didn't work, because it wasn't your methodology that led to the mistake. Does that make sense? You might want to watch that twice. That's really important. Anyway, guys, that was the point of today's video. Ethereum looks like it's breaking bullish in the next week, and I'm looking to go in on a trade on it, and I'm also looking to start dollar cost averaging on it relatively soon. Frankly, I wish I had done it when Ethereum was half the price it is right now, but, you know, it happens. It was Christmas time. Sue me. Anyway, guys, I want to wrap the video out by talking about something that really means a lot to me. It's about how I start my mornings. When I start my mornings, sometimes I will wake up and I either feel unmotivated or I feel unfulfilled. Have you guys ever had that happen to you? Tell me in the comment section, do you wake up and you're just like, why am I even getting out of bed? And guys, being self-employed makes that kind of difficult, because I literally, if I don't want to work someday, no one's going to tell me I have to. I don't have to go to work. I own the company. Like, I could not make a video. The last time I didn't make a video was 2 months ago, and that's because I was literally not in the same state as where I record. There's not a day goes by that I am fully capable of making a video that I don't make a video. How do I do that? There's 750 videos on this channel. For 8 months when I started this channel, we weren't making a penny, and believe me, I needed every penny I could get at the time. We weren't making anything. Still made a video every single day for you guys and put on the happy face so you guys would enjoy it. How did I do that? Well, like I said, there are two things that plague me sometimes when I wake up, and this morning I had both of them. One, I feel unmotivated. Two, I feel unfulfilled. Here's what I do in both of those instances. If I feel unmotivated, that's an easy one. Put on some inspirational A-type personality music, some workout music or something. I get pumped and I remember what I'm doing this for. The unfulfilled one, that is the hard part, because that's that hole in your heart I told you guys about. That one's a little bit tougher to crack, but I think I've realized exactly what I need to do to make sure that doesn't happen. Here's how I get rid of that. I stop and I take 5 minutes and I look around me and I think about literally every single thing I have now that I didn't have a year ago. Everything, every material object, every relationship, everything that means something to you. Think about it. Put your mind on it for 5 minutes. That hole, that unfulfilled feeling, you might see it start to go away. Right down here. I got my sparkly journal right here. I'm not gay, I just like sparkles. In here, this is what I do. Whenever I got a bad day going on, I'll just sit here and I'll write what I'm thankful for. Okay, on this day, it was the 12th of January. I wrote coffee. I wrote about my father. I wrote about my mindset. And then at the end, you know what I did? I'm not going to show you because there's some personal stuff on this, but I wrote the name of like every single person that I care about. There's like 30 or 40 names on there. If you're feeling unfulfilled in the morning, do that. I promise you it'll help. That's called a gratitude journal. Look up the psychology behind it. It's very helpful. You don't even have to write it down. Writing it down just helps. So you can go back and you can reference it every time you feel bad. Guys, if there's a hole in you, if you're feeling unfulfilled, it means one of two things. It means either one, you're not on the path that you should be on in life and you know it, or two, you've forgotten that you are on the path and that you're supposed to be grateful for it. I am on the path that I'm supposed to be on life. So sometimes when I feel unfulfilled, I just got to remember how awesome it is to be doing what I'm doing. Make sure to stay grateful. Make sure to remember how awesome and how lucky it is to be living in the 21st century anywhere in the world. Because guys, you could have been born a stop sign. You could have been born a tree stump, but you were born a human in the 21st century with modern medicine and the internet and Bitcoin and coffee. How awesome is that? I mean, seriously, this right here, that's a reason to live. That right there, that's a reason to live. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I have a feeling a few of you did. Just something I was thinking about this morning as I was eating breakfast, and I really appreciate my ability to share this information with you guys and hopefully make your day just a little bit better. Speaking of which, guys, you guys have been asking me quite a bit to play that piano back there, so I'm going to ask you, should I play that at the end of tomorrow's video? I got plenty of songs I can play, and just pick one of them and play it for you guys. So tell me in the comment section, would you like to see me play that piano? I'm more than happy to put it at the end of the video if enough of you say yes. Hit that like button so I know. That's why I want you to hit the likes. Totally. Anyway, though, guys, I'm about to go record the first cohort coffee and crypto live stream, which means I have to go get more coffee because I'm out. So I'm going to do that. For now, though, guys, I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh!